today's true story episode on the Greg Stewart Show. The thing that Joe carried for 35 years. You see, there are moments in life that don't just scare us, they shape us. Moments that don't fade away, don't soften, and don't disappear with time. They stay, they follow, and they attach themselves to the deepest part of who we are. And sometimes a person carries a moment for so long, they forget what life feels like without it. This is the case of Joel, a 50-year-old man. And today he walked into my coaching practice with a sentence that told me everything I needed to know. "Hello, Joel," I said to him, and he came here, he says, because he's been carrying something for 35 years. And he said, "I just don't want to carry it anymore." And you see, what I realized right there is when a man opens with that, you don't rush him. You don't interrupt. You don't fix. You just listen. Because anything that you may say may open it up to things that he thinks you want to hear. And I want truth to come from him. And so he's been living with this inside of him, and he no longer wants to be connected to this darkness. You see, what I found out during that time was that Joel grew up in Suffolk County, Long Island. Summers were humid, loud, and filled with the kind of freedom only teenagers understand. His aunt, Rosalie, she lived 45 minutes away in Nassau County. And every summer, Joel and his younger brother would stay with her for a few weeks. Rosalie also had a son. He was a few years older, 17 to be exact, and his name is Vincent. Vincent was different. He had special needs, nervous twitches, sudden loud outbursts, agitations that could turn physical without warning. In fact, Joel remembers when he was 12 years old, standing in Rosalie's yard. When Vincent became agitated, he was sticking his head out the window, and he said, "Come over here for a moment." And then he threw a hatchet at me. "And he just missed me," said Joel. Now what I realize is that sometimes we normalize the dangers, pretend it's normal because it's family. You see, Joel didn't grow up thinking Vincent was violent. He knew him as his cousin. But trauma hides itself. Behind fear comes familiar. And so that takes us to another part of the story. You see, Rosalie, who lived in Nassau County, or at least on the border between Suffolk and Nassau County, she lived not too far from a rumored home, a famous home, a home that everybody knew from television, even to this day, to newspapers. It was a home where there were two murders, one right after the other, from the first owner to the second owner. A famous haunted house that was just blocks away. The most haunted house in Long Island. And so Joel knew about this. This excited him. He said to his aunt, "Do you think we can go see it?" And she said, "Yes, it's not too far from here." And so they drove. They drove there, Rosalie driving, Vincent beside her in the front seat, while Joel and his brother were in the back. And as they arrived, the house looked ordinary enough. That's what made it worse. It looked ordinarily enough. A driveway along a quiet street. But the history in that neighborhood wasn't quiet. There were murders, 2 families, years apart. Same house, same fate. They sat there in silence, just staring. And then Rosalie said, "Boys, have you seen enough?" And they said yes, and she began to drive away slowly, as if the car itself didn't want to turn its back on the house. And they headed to the closest supermarket. It's a supermarket, if you lived in Long Island, called ShopRite, just a few miles down the road. And that is where everything changed. You see, when they arrived and they parked, nothing unusual. There was no tension, no arguments in the car. They were just ready to go into the supermarket. But all of a sudden, simultaneously, Joel and his brother turned their head to look at one another. And as they looked at each other, there were no words, no expression, a moment of eeriness. Other than that, it turned into chaos. For no reason, the two brothers in the back lunged at each other, fist flying, hitting nonstop, no control, no awareness. Rosalie screamed, boys, stop this." Vincent jumped in the back seat. Hands were everywhere, trying to pull them apart. When they finally stopped, both of the boys said the same thing. "I don't know why we did this. I don't remember anything." They both repeatedly said this. Sometimes, from the science of things, we tend to think of something that's possessive, paranormal, or supernatural. Are you a believer? Do you believe what happened in the car was because of that home? Or do you believe it was just coincidental? Two kids, overstimulated, scared, growing up around an unpredictable aggression that all of a sudden came over them. Sitting in the silence where there were murders, where things happened in that home. Was this a nervous system? Was this a fear system? Was this adrenaline? The body reacted before the mind could explain it. And this is why they had no memory. Fear doesn't always scream, and sometimes it's hijacked. But what do you think? Was this just an adrenaline rush because of the excitement of seeing something that was known to be one of the most haunted homes in Long Island? Or was there really something from the home? A few years passed. Vincent was now in his 20s. Unfortunately, his mental state enhanced itself. It worsened. He began to believe he was affiliated with the Prince of Darkness. Now, many could say it was also altered when he seen that home himself. Because all of a sudden, Vincent made a point of all the local church and faith places. He would go there and scream aggressively, "I challenge you, God." His mother, Rosalie, became terrified of this. One night, she had to put Vincent over into a home. She was scared. She Baker-acted him. She didn't know what else to do. Said he was acting very oddly. Now, they could only hold him for a few days, but she said that's fine, because the real reason why she did this was because of what was in Vincent's room. So, while Vincent was away, she begged Joel's father to come over. And when he arrived, she lifted up a carpet, a rollaway carpet over the floor. She showed him Vincent's room. There were carvings and symbols on the floor, marks, the most scariest things of what he was now worshiping. Joel's father came in with tools and scraped the floor and sanded it, trying to erase whatever Vincent believed he had created. Then he and Rosalie prayed for hours, held the Bible and prayed for hours, trying to wash off the feeling that wasn't physical. This wasn't one of those things you normally see young children or teenagers or even young men do, but Vincent did. So I ask you, do you think this was demonic or just part of his, at the time, untreated psychosis, delusions of grandeur, religious themes that breaks through the person? This young man was spiraling without support. His father abandoned them when he was just a young man. Could all this play a part? Or could a child have this evil, this danger? Could it be the house? You decide. You comment and let us know as we move on to the next thing in reference to the death of a grandmother. Joel remembers this day clearly. It's been a couple of years now since the episode with Vincent. It's probably in his late 20s. They were getting ready for church. It was a Sunday morning. As he was outside with his brother, his father's friend pulled up from the church. Joel and his brother were told to get their father. Then they said, "We better stay in here," and Mom agreed. They watched their father as he went over to the car. Then suddenly, their father was sprinting back towards the house. He was crying profusely. He burst through the door. "What's wrong? What's wrong?" said their mother. He looked, still running to the bedroom. My mom, she's gone. She's dead." Joel's grandmother lived with Rosalie and Vincent. She lived there for quite some time. You see, why didn't she live at home with Joel, the father, the mother, and his brother? Because the home was very small and it was much more spacious at Rosalie's home. When he spoke to Rosalie, when he ran over there and drove off, she told him, "I was gone for the day." Now, Vincent was here. When I came in, your mother was, when I left, in a wheelchair. Now she was on the floor, and the wheelchair was tipped over. This was the story, but she did leave out one thing as the paramedics were starting to arrive. Vincent was yelling. He had delusions, but I don't think he had anything to do with this, said his mother. He said, when I walked in, this is Rosalie speaking, "She's dead, Mom. She's dead, and I am the Prince of Darkness." Rosalie crushed Vincent as the paramedics came into his room. She told the paramedics nothing about Vincent's episode, and so the death was ruled a heart attack. Because of her age, mid-80s, there were no investigation, no questions, and no closure. Joel's father, at that moment, cut ties with his entire side of the family that day, forever. See, Joel had another now demon of his own to carry with him. These episodes just kept building. Was it or was it not the haunted house that created the fight? Was it the carvings that the whole family knew of a relative that believed he was part of the Prince of Darkness? Everything resulted to silence because of unanswered questions, fear, guilt, confusion. This emotional indication of love has turned to fear, turned to pain. And children don't need the truth, especially when they see it. They make it up in their own mind, but they need love and acknowledgement. things that Joel never got. So Joel grew up with these stories, and they were fear-based. They shaped his relationships in his entire life, particularly the one with himself. He had confusion of his beliefs. He didn't know if he was traumatized or cursed. He would imagine things because the only thing he knew was the stories on his way to this point of life. So Joel sat across from me. His hands were shaking, his voice trembling, his eyes carrying decades of weight. In fact, he told me everything that he could ever remember about this. And then he took a breath. And he finished, and he looked at me, waiting to be sentenced in his mind, wondering if he somehow was a weird way responsible. I told him, there's no one to judge you. There's no diagnosis for you. I told him the truth. I said, Joel, whether you're a man of science or a man who believes in paranormal, but from my point of view, you weren't haunted. You were scared. You were confused. You were a child in an environment where adults couldn't even handle it. They didn't know how to answer these things to you or your brother. And so you had to find a way to survive. His eyes softened. His shoulders dropped and his breath began to change. Because for the first time in the last 35 years, he wasn't carrying it alone. He felt free. Free for the first time. You see, Joel's story, all of our stories, we all carry them. Some, like Joel's, are loud. Some are hauntingly quiet, that feel supernatural. Because the emotions inside were so big for his child side to understand. So Joel inherited these things. But Joel didn't survive a haunting. He survived a childhood he was never allowed to understand. And sometimes healing isn't about forgetting the story. It's about finally telling it to you in the right way.